Now, the One Economy Foundation is marking 10 years of transformative work in the country with a fundraising soirée under that is a powerful theme, a decade of weaving legacy and stitching futures. It is a foundation founded that is by former First Lady Monica Geingos, and the foundation has spent the past decade bridging economic divides through impactful programs, that empower youth, women as well as marginalized communities. Now, joining us here this morning to talk more about the milestone and what lies ahead or lays ahead is Mavis Elias, the Director of Resource Mobilisation at the One Economy Foundation. A very good morning, ma'am. How are you doing?
I'm very good, thank you, Nicole. How are you doing?
Good, can't complain. It's a beautiful morning. So,
it is.
Yeah, right. I think before we go into the swing of things, the 10 years, if we backtrack and where we are today, I think maybe you can start by telling the Namibian nation more about the foundation and its mandate. I think if we start there, that would be great.
Thank you so much, Nicole. So the One Economy Foundation had its annual fundraiser where it was launched in the year 2016. And so we are celebrating 10 years of the annual fundraiser, but the One Economy Foundation itself is 9 years old because it was, in essence, launched in 2016. And at the moment, the One Economy Foundation, its mandate is ultimately to bridge, as you rightfully said, the gap between the two economies. We do work that empowers young people aged 13 to 35, and we do this through a continuum of services. This is both GBV, psychosocial services. We also have a clinic on campus, and then we also have youth opportunities that empower young people through entrepreneurship. And then we also have the Be Free movement, which has convening power to bring young people together and have conversations on sexual reproductive health and so forth.
Yeah, I think we've had a numerous amount, from your team members.
Yes.
We've definitely engaged you guys before.
Yeah.
But let's talk about, what does this this anniversary represent, for the team? Because, no man is an island, and I'm sure you guys have a fantastic team. What does this mean for the team who has walked this journey, with the foundation?
I think, Nicole, it's an excellent question in that it's nostalgic from where we're coming from the initial steps at Ramatex when it was launched in 2016. And it's exciting for where it is that we're going after having walked these 9 years and looking at the year 10. So at the moment, as we're looking at a decade of stitching futures. And it's ultimately the kind of thing where you can't help but take a step back and think back of the initial days when we were finding our feet and we had the launch of the Be Free Youth Campus at Club London, and young people came together to really tell us about what they're facing, whether it be mental health, elements, psychosocial challenges, and really just having conversations on sexual reproductive health and honest conversations at that. So I think as a team, we're certainly sort of sitting in the moment to look and reflect back for where we're coming from, but also taking time to look at the future and how exciting it is for what it is that we're trying to build.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I want to get back to the theme. I like how this really sticks, weaving legacy and stitching futures. Nice, straight to the point, short, very powerful theme. When the team sat and engaged, and why was this the theme? Why did you guys come up with this one? And also, how does it really reflect, the collective effort of the foundation?
Nicole, we had to really be honest with ourselves in that we're very much interconnected into the story of One Economy Foundation. When we talk about weaving legacy and stitching futures, is that we're all weaved into the story of One Economy Foundation. This is the volunteer who takes time to actually be a part of the story, the intern, the staff member, our donors, everyone who's really believed in the vision of the One Economy Foundation and how all of us come together and we're weaving a legacy. But more than that, it's not so much just about the foundation. It's the people that it impacts, the young people, in that when you think about the young person who walks through the gates of the Be Free Youth Campus and how they can come with a story where they've built a narrative around who they are, and we help them sort of dismantle that and try to empower them to take sort of power back into their own hands to be able to build a future for themselves. And it's really thinking around how the work that we're doing now can reverberate into the future and where it is we're trying to go. So it's really thinking back in that we're all interconnected, but also looking forward at those that we're impacting.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I really want us to backtrack a little bit. If we talk about, obviously we want to celebrate all the milestones first, but I'm sure there were some challenges. they don't have to be major, but also how did the team, the foundation, how did you remedy some of your challenges that you did face, if there were any, you know, and then what would you highlight as some of the most powerful milestones of the foundation?
I think that the challenges also speak to our greatest milestone, is that young people, through the Be Free Youth movement, where we convene young people to have conversations about what it is they're facing. We were faced with the challenge of how do you create a space where they can feel safe, a space that is non-judgmental. And so with the greatest challenge was how do you make this into a reality, in that when they told us that we want a space where we can come and have real conversations, a space where we know that we can truly tell you what we're going through. You're not going to tell our parents, you know, because it's always the fear that they have, and that whatever they're facing, that you might actually then create a space where they don't feel safe anymore. And so we had conversations with pastors, government officials, parents, but mainly young people. And our greatest milestone is in the Be Free Youth Campus, which was built with the feedback that we received from community members, in that what do they believe would constitute a safe space, non-judgmental for young people. And so the greatest challenge was thinking around how to make that a reality, but it is also our greatest milestone, and that we were able to launch this on the 1st of September 2023. And looking back at sort of the building of the vision and trying to co-create this space with young people, for a space that has a continuum of services of sexual reproductive health, youth entrepreneurship, robotics, STEM, and all elements that encompass what a young person truly wants to see in one space. I think it is our greatest milestone, Nicole.
For sure. I'd clap now, but I don't know. I'm allowed. Let's talk about the event. You have less than a month. The 7th of August is when it is happening. What sort of experience is the foundation looking to create?
Nicole. So when you look back at 10 years of an annual fundraiser, we want to take a step and just allow ourselves to look back. Because I think a decade is an incredibly long time. And so for the attendee that is to join us at the annual fundraiser this year, it's a time of celebration for how far we've come, because many of us are very guilty of not taking time to celebrate the impact that you've had, and really telling the stories of the beneficiaries themselves, the people who the donor has impacted, and bringing them to the fore to say that this is what the funds that we've collected over the past 10 years has done. But more than that, this is not where we're stopping. It is 10 years, but there is much excitement for where it is that we're going, and trying to then sort of think around how are we going to make sure that the impact that we are putting into the world, because we do make sure that we're not centrally focused in the Commerce region alone. We've got initiatives in the Msati and Ohangwena region, but there's also the Kavango region, there's also the Irongo region, and really thinking about expanding the work that we're doing to reach across Namibia. We do that through dialogues and make sure that our work is not just centrally focused in the Commerce region. But I'm sure that if we were to ask those who find themselves in Rundo or Kavango, would you like a Be Free Youth Campus? You might say very well, yes.
Yes, for sure. Okay, so let's talk about how individuals or companies, you know, can, I don't know, participate in the soiree and or just support the work of the foundation.
So Nicole, for those that are watching at this juncture and have not purchased a ticket or a table, or even thought around how it is they can support the fundraiser this year, they can email us at onefundraiser@oneeconomy.org, or ultimately just call the Be Free Youth Campus, and that's how they can get a hold of us. But it's really thinking around that. Many people have attended over the past 10 years, or 9 years, but this year I think is the most important, so that we can actually cultivate our future, and thinking around how it is we're going to make sure that this decade can ultimately then also move forward over the next few years. So we would like for those that are watching to know that it's not an invite-only event, absolutely not. Everybody is welcome, from private sector to just the ordinary man on the street. Everybody is welcome.
Ms. Elias, as we do wrap up, what would your final message be to Namibians here this morning? As you know, the foundation marks 10 years, but not specifically just speaking to the event.
Yes.
Your last message.
So I think at the end of the day, it's really just thinking around the work that we do at the One Economy Foundation, in that we're really centered around young people, in that how can we make sure that the work that we do impacts them. and making sure that as we continue the work of the Be Free movement, the Be Free Youth Campus, and the One Economy Foundation itself, is that we do build a space that is non-judgmental, and young people are truly welcome to visit the Be Free Youth Campus to make sure that we can journey with them and really have conversations with them about the things that bother them, those that they're too afraid to actually even admit that they are facing on the inside, and then walk with them as they build a future for themselves. So it's a non-judgmental space, a space that allows you to come and be who you are, and also allow you to empower, or rather allows us to walk with you in the journey of empowerment of yourself, because we want you to take control of your own future. So we want to walk with you. That's really our message, that we want to walk with young people as they journey through those initial years that make up who they become over the rest of their life.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you,
so much
Nicole.
for being
Thank
here.
you
And all
for
the best
having
with
us.
preparations and stuff. There you have it. Creating a safe space here in Namibia is the One Economy Foundation, and they're marking that is the 10th year, of transformative work that is within the country, and under a very powerful theme also, a decade of weaving legacy and stitching futures. You can get involved there. Please do get in touch with their office if you want. And we say thank you to that is Ms. Mavis Elias, who's the Director of Resource Mobilisation at the Foundation. We have more coming up. Please stay with us.